Okay, so today we will start the last topic of this particular economic generation, which is called the economic allocation of generation between different parts in a system, considering system transmission loss. So this is called the economic load dispatch, because our aim is not only to generate the power economically, rather the economically generated power, how it is transferred to the load center or to the consumer economically also. So when you do these things, here the transmission losses come in the picture, because the power is transmitted to the transmission line, and this transmission line has the resistance or the impedance. So that means active power loss will be there, and we have to consider this one. So economic allocation of generation between different units in a plant has been considered previously. So when considering the economic allocation of generation between different plants in an integrated system, the transmission loss are to be considered. This leads to the dispatch of power in an economical way, so as to make the overall cost to be minimum. Because suppose you generate the power economically, but due to the unplanned or due to any problem in their calculation, when the power is transmitted to the load, huge amount of power will drop or loss in the transmission loss, as a transmission loss. So that's why, and nobody will pay for this particular loss. The company will need to generate again that amount of losses to compensate the load demand. So that's why it's a total loss. And according to the misplanning or the wrong planning, you have to spend some money extra to compensate that loss. So that's why you have to make some arrangements so that the transmitted power also transmit to the load center economically. So let there be n plants in the system integrated by the transmission lines and ties. So this is the system. Here n number of power plants are there, which is catering this particular load center. So let P1, P2, Pn refers the generation of the n plants as previously told you, respectively in megawatt. Let the total load be P load. So this is the total load, which is a constant. This should not be constant, because in a day the load is varying much. But when you calculate, when your system, when your program is calculating the economic generation, in that particular moment, you have to consider that load is a constant, or the demand is the constant, not the load, the demand is the constant. And losses in the system is PL. Now this term is introduced here newly. So this is called the system transmission loss, overall system transmission loss. Now the constant equation is given by, initially it was only the equality constant, that means the load demand should be equal to the generation. But now as we transmit the power, so we have to consider the loss also, and this one is also considered as a demand, because we have to cater the load also, loss also. So that's why the constant equation becomes summation I equal to 1 to n minus Pi plus PL plus P load equal to phi r. Phi r is called the residual power, and for the ideal operation, this should be equal to 0. Here you see that the load and the losses are considered here, and that should be equal to the generation, total number of generations. So phi r being the residual power as mentioned, and it should be approaches to 0 during steady state operation of the power system. So let the net fuel input cost per hour be F, which is the summation of fuel cost per hour of each of the unit governed by the generated power P. So this is the total cost, and this cost is obviously depend upon the generation. If you want to generate more, you need to spend more amount of fuel. So you need to buy more amount of fuel, and you need to spend more amount of money for that one. So the generating cost is governed or controlled by the generation, amount of generation. For more amount of generation, you have to spend more, or your cost will be more also. So F is the summation of I equal to 1 to n, because n number of plants are there, Fi Pi. Fi is the cost function, and which is depend upon the generation Pi. This is equal to rupees per hour. So application of Lagrangian techniques in order to optimize real power generation gives L equal to F plus lambda phi. So this is the general form of the Lagrangian methods. So Lagrangian function is nothing but the cost function plus a multiplier into the constant equation. This is applicable everywhere, not only the power system. This is applicable in physics, mathematics, any repeated problem or iterative method. This particular formula is applicable. So the things which you try to minimize, here we try to minimize the cost, but in general, the things which you try to minimize, that one plus a multiplier, which is called the Lagrangian multiplier, into a constant function. if you just take the summation of these two quantity, it's become the Lagrangian function, which is need to be minimized. So necessary condition for cost function to be minimum has been obtained by setting the first derivative of the Lagrangian or L with respect to each of the independent variable to 0. Okay, that means del lambda del pi equal to 0. Same as the previous. So here, now replace the value of phi, that means the constant equation from this expression number 10, we get it. L equal to f plus lambda, this is equal to phi, replacement of phi, and with del lambda del pi equal to 0, first derivative with respect to the independent variables, we can write d fi pi by dpi minus lambda, because this is equal to pi, so it's become minus lambda, and that p load is a constant quantity, so if you take the derivative it becomes 0, but this loss is not a constant. Okay, I will explain why the loss is not constant. So that's why we have an expression del PL by del PI. And if you just take the minus lambda common, it's become this one. Okay. So after changing all the sides, it's ultimately become d Fi Pi by dpi plus lambda into del PL by del PI equal to lambda. So this is expression number 11 or the equation number 11. So this is called the modified economic operation criteria. Why this one is called the modified? Because actual economic operation criteria is del Fi Pi, d Fi Pi by dpi equal to lambda. That means the Lagrangian multiplier. But here, as we considering the transmission loss also, because this term is extra included. So that's why it is called the modified economic operation criteria for the thermal plant with transmission losses considered. Now, why this PL is not a constant? Because as I mentioned that when you do the calculation, we have to take 1 minute. We have to take the P load as a constant or the demand as a constant quantity for this particular time being, but losses is not a constant. So why not the loss is constant quantity? Anybody have an idea why the loss is not constant?
নরমালি আর কি যত দিন যায় তত আস্তে আস্তে লস বাড়তে থাকে সেই জন্য কি?
No, how the losses increases? So here you see that in this particular figure, 3 power plants are there, power plant 1, 2 and 3. And all the power
লোড রিকোয়ারমেন্টের উপর ডিপেন্ড করে, যত লোড হিসেবে তত কারেন্ট উইথড্রন ফ্রম সোর্স এই ফ্যাক্টরটা তো বাড়তে থাকে, তা সেক্ষেত্রে সিস্টেমের ইন্টারনাল লস বা ট্রান্সমিশন লস সেগুলো তো বাড়তে থাকে।
Okay, so here you see, say this one is 10 kilometer. Okay, the distance between the power plant 1 and the load center is 10 kilometer. Say it's equal to 30 kilometer and say it's equal to 50 kilometer. So as the drawing is not up to the scale, so just consider this one. As we know that the power plant should not be situated at close to the load center due to the safety reason, due to the pollution reason. The power plant generally placed at the remote position, and so the generated power we have to bring it through the transmission line, over a transmission line from the power plant to the load center. And say the distance from the power plant 1 to the load is 10 kilometer. From 3 to load is 30 kilometer and from 2 to load is 50 kilometer. So that means, as you know, the resistance or the impedance is proportional to the distance. So that means here you can say that if this one is Z1, the impedance of this transmission line, if this one is Z2 and Z3, and if this one is Z2, so which one is more? Z1, Z2 and Z3, which one is more? Z2 is greater than Z3 is greater than Z1, because this Z or the resistance, whatever you call it, is depend upon the distance. Now you see, after you apply the economic criteria, you find that suppose the load demand is 100 megawatt. Okay. And after applying your economic operation criteria, without considering the transmission loss, it's come out like this one. Say this should be generated 50. Okay, sorry, this should be generated 50. This one is say 30 in megawatt, and that should be generated in 20 megawatt. Okay. So that is the result after you apply the economic criteria here. But here you see that if you want to consider the transmission loss, here you see that the distance from the power plant 2 to the load center is high, which is equal to 50 kilometer. So if the power plant 2 generates 50 megawatt, that means the maximum generation, if it is contribute or if it is shared the maximum load demand, then the problem is that the transmission loss also be the more, because here Z2 is the maximum value among the Z1, Z2 and Z3. So the losses will be more also. More generation means more current will be sent to this particular line, and more amount of current will send to this particular line means here the heat loss or the I square loss will be more compared to the other line. So that's why when you think about the economic load dispatch, then not only you consider the economic generation between the different plants, you need to consider the transmission losses also. Because here you see that as the power plant 1 is close enough to load, that's why we try to generate the power, or we try to contribute the power plant 1 more for this particular load demand. Okay. So that's why we need to consider we need to reschedule the program again. Understand my point? Without considering the transmission loss, this is the result: 50 megawatt, 30 megawatt and 20 megawatt. But if you consider the transmission loss, you see that you can understand from the figure that it's not economical, because so many loss will be there in the transmission line too, which is more or which is lengthy. That's why the transmission loss is also more. So we have to reschedule all these things. Okay. So this is called the modified economic operation criteria. Now, if you just rearrange this expression, it's coming dFIPI by dPi, then 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PI equal to lambda. Oh, the main thing I forgot to mention here. So here you see that the transmission loss is actually depend upon the generation. This may be the constant quantity. The load demand may be the constant quantity, but the transmission loss is not a constant quantity. It depends upon the generation. If this line generate more, if this power plant generate more, then the current through this particular line also more. So the transmission loss is also more. But if this one is generate less, power plant 2 generate less, say 10 megawatt, then the I2 is also less. So 10 megawatt means it actually contribute very less share. So that means the I2 is less and the transmission loss is also low compared to the previous situation. So that's why the transmission loss is the function of the generation. So it's not a constant quantity. So after rearranging all these things, it's become this one. Now this expression can be written like this one: dFIPI by dPi into PFI. This term is PFI equal to lambda. Now what is this PFI called? PFI is 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PI, or in this way you can write it also 1 minus del PL by del PI minus 1. That is equal to 1 by actually. So this term is known as the penalty factor. A very important terms in the economic generation, this penalty factor. So what is the meaning of that penalty factor? The expression is in front of you. Penalty factor is 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PI. This is called the penalty factor. But actually, what is the meaning of this one? Okay, before we understand this one, so let's see what is written here. So equation 12 or 12a means this expression or that expression is known as the exact coordination equation. Previously, it was mentioned as coordination equation only when you just considering the economic generation, that dFIPI by dPi equal to lambda. That is called the coordination equation. But this one is called the exact coordination equation because this is more accurate, or this is more practical compared to the previous one. Previous one is the ideal thing. We just need to generate the load demand economically. but we are not thinking about transmit the load demand. But here we need to think about the transmission of the load demand also. That's why this is called the exact coordination equation. So in equation 12, this one, this dFIPI by dPi being the incremental cost, this one you know, this is called the incremental cost. Del PL by del PI is known as the incremental transmission loss. Now, what is the meaning of these two? So one is the penalty factor, second one is the incremental transmission loss. What is called the incremental transmission loss? Incremental transmission loss means, suppose here in this particular figure, this one is generating 10 megawatt. So if the power plant 2 is generating 10 megawatt, some transmission loss is there in the transmission line 2, means through this line when the power is coming to the load, some losses will be there. Now suddenly if the power plant 2 is generating 50 megawatt, then the transmission loss is also increased. Then how much is the increase for this 40 megawatt extra generation? Previously it was generated 10 megawatt, now the generation is 50 megawatt. So the compared to the generation, 40 megawatt extra generation will be there. Now for 40 megawatt extra generation for power plant 2, how much increment is there in the transmission loss also? So this one is called the incremental transmission loss. The expression is del PL by del PI. Okay. So in number of optimum dispatch equation along with the constant suffix for the determining n plus 1 unknown, same n plus unknown is n plus 1 unknown is there. So n unknowns are P1, P2, Pn, that means the generation for each plant, and the last one is the lambda, that is the Lagrangian multiplier. The aim is same. That was the aim for the economic generation also, and here we need to find out the generation for every plant also. But here one extra term is there which is called the penalty factor. So for n number of plants, the coordinate equation given by this del PL del F1 P1 by dP1, sorry, dF1 P1 by dP1 minus lambda into 1 minus dPL by dPi equal to 0. Similarly for second one, third one, n1, and at last for the constant equation, our total generation should be equal to the load demand plus the losses. So here total n plus 1 unknown equations are there to find out the n plus 1 unknowns. Okay. Now, what is called the penalty factor? What is the meaning of this term penalty factor? So penalty factor means, penalty means what? Penalty means is nothing but a fine. So that means here you see, 1 minute. So when this one is generating, when the power plant 2 is generating 50 megawatt of power, so obviously some losses are there when the power is transmitted from the power plant 2 to the load center. Now during this transmission, who will cater this loss? Obviously the power plant 2, because this power plant 2 is sending the power through their transmission line. So whatever be the loss occurs during this transmission, this loss have to be bear by the power plant 2. So that's why this is called in terms of penalty, because nobody will pay. The consumer here gives the tariff, but this tariff is actually what is the power they received. They should not compensate across this loss. So that means this is the loss compared to the generation of the power plant 2, and this power plant 2 should generate some power extra compared to this 50 megawatt to compensate this loss. So that's why the term penalty will associated here. So penalty means, suppose I need to give you 100 rupees, but during my travel to you, I need to spend 10 rupees. So that 10 rupees you will not compensate. You just received 100 rupees from me. So that's why I have to bear 110 rupees, 10 rupees for the compensation of this cost of the transportation, and I need to give you 100 rupees. So that's why this extra 10 rupees is called the penalty in terms of generation. So that's why the term is associated here is penalty factor. So now let's do one example that what is the meaning of this particular thing and how to solve how to reschedule the economic operation considering the system transmission load also. This one is also called the economic load dispatch. So here you see a 2 bus system without generator limit has been considered here. Only two generating players. So just see the one line diagram or the single line diagram. Here two generators are there. Their generations are PGA and PGB, and they are connected through the transmission lines, and two loads are there. One is P load A, another is P load B. And this is an interconnected system, means this is not a standalone system. Standalone system means one load is scattered by one generator only. Suppose if the transmission, just forget about the transmission line. So that means the PGA, P load A is scattered by PGA and P load B is scattered by the PGB. But as it's an interconnected line, to make the system more reliable during the one power shutdown or one plant maloperation, so that's why everything is now interconnected, so that the area or the load is connected to many sources. So if one source fails to transmit the power or generate the power, then the load demand is scattered by the other lines also. So that's why this is called the interconnected system. Every country, everywhere is now interconnected system is there, apart from some small islands. In some small islands, some DC or the microgrids are there. So this may be called the standalone system. Suppose you have a very small island. So here you have a generator. So this is become the power plants, and whatever be the power generated by the generator, you are using as a bulb load or the load to your house or any other things. So that is called the standalone system. Separate principles are used, and this economic generation is not applicable to the standalone system. That one is applicable for the interconnected system. So just first you need to understand the question. Here P load A equal to 400 megawatt and P load B equal to 100 megawatt. So what is the total load demand? What is the load demand?
500 megawatt.
500 megawatt, very good. So, and PL, this is the transmission loss. So PL is expressed in this way. It's equal to 0.008 PGB minus 100 square. So here you see, in terms of PL, there is no PGA. That means the transmission line is the transmission loss is dependent upon the generation of the second power plant, PGB only. Okay. So here you see that as the P load is 400 megawatt and P load B is only 100 megawatts, and that means this 400 megawatt P load A is not fulfilled by the PGA. So that means some power need to be transmitted from the PGB to the load through this transmission line. That's why the losses is totally dependent upon the PGB, not to the PGA. You understand my point? You may ask me that question why not the transmission loss, which is equal to PL, this expression. So in this expression, why not the PGA or the generation of the power plant A is present? Why only the PGB is present? Okay, because the fact is that here the P load A is equal to 400. It's a huge load compared to the P load B. P load B is only 100 megawatt, but P load A is 400 megawatt. And unfortunately, this 400 megawatt of power is not able to supply by the PGA alone. So this PGA is not able to submit the 400 megawatt of load. So that means some power need to be transmitted from the PGB through this transmission line to the P load A to cater the total load demand, to fulfill the total load demand. That's why whatever be the transmission losses are there, which is totally dependent upon the PGB, because the power is not transmitting from PGA to load B. Rather, the power is transmitted from PGB to load A through transmission line. That's why in this expression, there is no term PGA. Only the transmission losses is dependent upon the PGB. So incremental fuel cost criteria, incremental fuel cost expression for the two generators are also given in the question, which is equal to 0.006 PGA plus 4 rupees per megawatt hour. And for B plant, it's equal to 0.007 PGB plus 4 rupees per megawatt hour. So find optimum generation for each plant and the power losses in the transmission line. So power losses in the transmission line is easy, because once you're able to find out the value of PGB, just replace the value of PGB here with this numerical value, you can get the P load. That means the transmission loss. But how to find out the PGA and PGB optimally so that the transmission loss is minimized. So we need to apply this formula which we just derived today. Let's see. So as PL equal to this term, so PL dPL by dPGB equal to the first derivative of this one. So it's equal to, because these two in coming in front, so it's become 0.0016 PGB minus 100. So this is the first derivative, or if you just break this value, it's become 0.0016 PGB minus 0.16. Okay. And because you see, when you calculate the turn power factor, the penalty factor, this dPL by dPi or the generation incremental transmission loss is required. That's why we have to take the derivative of this one. Now penalty factor or PF is equal to 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PGI. So for generation 1, assuming it to be a slack bus or the reference bus, for the generation 1, what is the value of del PL by del PGA? It's equal to 0, because in this expression there is no PGA. So if you take the first derivative, it simply becomes 0. So that's why penalty factor 1, which is equal to 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PGA, 1 by 1 minus 0, because this term is 0, or it's equal to simply 1. So penalty factor is 1 for the PGA, and penalty factor 2, it's equal to 1 by 1 minus del PL by del PGB. Now you have the expression of the del PGB here, del PL by del PGB. This is the incremental transmission loss for the power plant B. Replace the value here, it's coming this one, the penalty factor 2 equal to this one, or you can say penalty factor B equal to this one. Now for optimum dispatch, okay, if somebody asks you the question, or if objective is coming this way, that what is the exact coordination equation? The answer is that here the incremental cost of all the plants multiplied by the penalty factor should be equal, and this should be equal to the lambda. Okay, abar bhalo kore shono. Previously, when you just considered the economic generation, we call it the coordination equation, only the coordination equation. And in what, or the definition of the coordination equation was, the incremental fuel cost for all the different units should be same, and it should be equal to delta. It should be equal to lambda. So dF1P1 by dP1, dF2P2 by dP2, all are equal, and that should be equal to lambda. But the exact coordination equation, the definition is started like this one. The incremental fuel cost, this one is the incremental fuel cost. Sorry, I can't annotate this one. So this is the incremental fuel cost, dF1 by dPGA. So incremental fuel cost into the penalty factor of all the generating plants should be equal, and that should be equal to the lambda, the Lagrangian multiplier. So this is the definition. What definition of the exact coordination equation? Okay, so here only two plants are there. So PFA or PF1 into dF1 by dPGA equal to penalty factor 2 into dF2 by dPGB equal to lambda. That is 0.006 PGA plus 4 equal to lambda. So first you take this penalty factor equal to 1 for the power plant 1, dF1 P1 by dF1 by d PGA equal to this one, 0.006 PGA plus 4.0. So it should be equal to lambda, first expression, this one, equation number 1. And second one have the penalty factor, which is equal to 1 by 1.16 minus this one into that expression equal to lambda. Now, if you solve all these things, PG, and the last expression is this PGA plus PGB. That means the total generation should be equal to load demand, which is equal to 500 plus the losses. This losses is written here because the losses is the function of the power plant B generation. So that's why losses plus load demand should be equal to the total generation PGA plus PGB. That is the equation number 3. Now, if you're able to solve these 3 expression, it's come that the PGA equal to this one, PGB equal to this one, and lambda equal to this one. Okay, I just copied this solution from the Abhijit Chakraborty sir book, but I found that this solution is not correct, because you see, if you just add the two number PGA and PGB, it's not even coming 500, because the load demand is 500 and some losses is also there. So that's why these two summation of the two generation should be equal to 500 plus the losses. So it's not coming. So last night I checked it in MATLAB program, and I find that these ones should be equal to 327. So that two should be equal to 3, and this is close to the 117 or 120, and losses is remain same like this one. This one is also 5.694. It's coming 6 point something, 1 or 2. So that expression is not correct. But don't worry, that question will never come in the exam. But this procedure you should remember, because that three expression, if it is very difficult to find only using the normal or the scientific calculator and your pen and paper without the help of the computer. So don't worry about this one. Don't need to remember the answer also, but you just need to know the procedure for solving the economic load dispatch problem. Okay. I'll give you one MATLAB program for solving the economic criteria using the transmission losses also. So just put the input value and you will check that answer yourself. Okay. Come to the last one. The loss, the next one, that how you understand that this will give you the exact economic operation. Okay, so here is the proof of this second one. Now come to this one. Okay, so I'm connected. So here we see, this is a very important problem. 1 year it came in the markout also. Exact the same problem. Okay. So the loss in the system, transmission loss shown in the figure, is proportional to the square of the power flow. So you see the line loss is showing, it's equal to 0.0002 P1 square watt. So you see the line loss is totally depend upon the power plant 1 generation. It's not depend upon the power plant 2, because you see that here from the figure, the load bus, which is equal to this one, this is the load bus. So load bus is very close to the power plant 2. So between the power plant 2 and the load bus, there is no transmission lines, as if the power plant 2 is directly connected to this load bus. But the power plant 1 is situated away from the load bus. So these are connected to the transmission line. So that's why the line or the transmission loss is totally dependent upon the power plant 1 generation. It should not be related to the power plant 2 generation. Next, the limits are also given. The power plant 1 and power plant 2 both are same. The minimum limit is 70 megawatt and maximum limit is 400 megawatt. So that means here the generation should be between 400 to 70 megawatt, and both are the same plant, identical plant. So that means the incremental fuel cut characteristics or the cost function, this is not the incremental, this is the cost function of the two plants are remain same, which is equal to 400 plus 7p plus 0.002 p square. Now need to understand the question. Both units in the figure are loaded at 250 megawatt. As the both units are same, so they are actually loaded same 250 megawatt. So due to transmission loss, 12.5 megawatt of power is lost. So where should this extra 12.5 megawatt be generated for economic operation? Attempt a reschedule to minimize the transmission loss. So here two question is there. First you need to understand the question correctly. Once you understand the question, then the solution procedure will be easy compared to the will be easy to you. So first is that each plant generating 250 megawatt. Okay, so that means why what is the load demand then? 500 megawatt. So if it is written 500 megawatt to receive. But if it is not written here, then also you can understand that if the two plants generates the 250 megawatt, so 250 plus 250, 500 megawatt is the load demand. But when you are generating 250 megawatt of power, you see that 12.5 megawatt of power will be lost through this transmission line. So from where this extra 12.5 megawatt should be generated? for economic operation. That is the question. And second question is that attempt a reschedule to minimize this transmission loss. So we try to minimize the transmission loss. 12.5 megawatt, we try to minimize this one. This is a very important question, also very interesting question also. So once you're able to understand the solution, that will be more easy for you to do the problem by your own. About the solution procedure. So due to transmission loss, the power received by the load is 500 minus 12.5 equal to 487.5 megawatt. So total load demand is not fulfilled. Some portion is considered as loss, and this loss is 12.5 megawatt. So 500 megawatt power should be received by the load, but due to the transmission loss and due to the 250 megawatt generation by each of the plant, the power actually received by the load is 487.5 megawatt. So I think nobody has the problem to understand the first line. Second line, utilization of the Lagrangian technique results. Now we need to do the same Lagrangian technique again and again to find out the optimum scheduling. Here, you need to write the Lagrangian first. As I mentioned, this equal to the factor or the function which you need to minimize plus the Lagrangian multiplier into the constant equation. So that is from the expression for the Lagrangian equation. So L equal to Fp1 plus Fp2, which is the cost function. We try to minimize this one plus the Lagrangian multiplier lambda into the constant equation, which is equal to 500, which need to be received by the load plus the loss PL minus P1 and minus P2. Everybody understand that why the minus sign is there, because as this is the loss, as this is the demand and this is the generation, so this should be in the two sides of the equal sign. So that's why when you take it in the same sign, one should be minus. Generation should be equal to minus, and generation minus the demand should be equal to 0. So that's why it is called the constant equation. So this from the equation number 1. So for economic operation, del L by del P1 equal to, if you just take the first derivative with respect to the P1, it's become dF1 P1 by dP1 minus lambda into 1, because this one 1 minus del PL by del PI. So except this one, everything is constant. 500 is a constant quantity. P2 is a constant. P2 is not related when you track the derivative respect to the P1. So these two quantities become 0. Only the del PL by del P1 and 1, this will be present. So in this way, we form the equation number 2 and 3. 3 is taking the derivation with respect to second generation P2. Also, P1 plus P2, that is the generation, equal to 500 plus 12.5. 500 should be received and 12.5 is the loss. So we have 3 equations. One is this one, second one is this one, and third one is this one. We need to solve it. Again, I am saying that I am copying this question from the book. I didn't need to solve it, but as a student, you need to solve this type of problem in the exam time. So please be prepared, take your time, do in your free time, just try to solve it and try to find out that you are getting this particular expression or not, this one. Like this one, solving equation number. So I can write it in the same line, solving equation number 2, 3, and 4, we get this one. But in the exam time, you are not able to write this one. In the exam time, you have to do the solution and find out the answer yourself. So that's why, please, time is there. Take your time in the free time. Just try to solve it and see that you are able to solve this one, is able to solve this particular problem or not. Okay. It doesn't need any help because you know all the basic mathematics formula for the solution of this problem, but at least you need to spend some time to get the solution. And once you practice this one, this will help you to find the solution in the exam time quickly, unnecessarily killing your time. So after solving this one, we get that P1 equal to 179 megawatt, P2 equal to 327.5 megawatt, and PL is the function, transmission loss is the function of P1 only. The expression was given in the question. It's equal to 0.002 P1 square. Just replace the value of P1 by 179, you will get the 6.4 megawatt power is wasted during this economic generation. Okay. So the conclusion from after solving this one is that, so hence we see that if we generate only 250 megawatt in each line, so the two units are identical. So that means the load demand 500 is equally distributed to the two units. So each unit must generate 250 megawatt. But the problem is that when the two units are generating 250 megawatt, then the load demand is not satisfied. Only 487.5 megawatt is received by the load, and 12.7 megawatt power is 12.5 megawatt power is wasted as the transmission loss in the line. So the load demand is not met. Our only equality criteria should not be met. So that is not accepted. So on the other hand, if we schedule for economic operation using the formula we derived, the Lagrangian formula we derived, and the penalty factor also, for economic scheduling, 179 megawatt for unit 1 and 327.5 megawatt for unit 2 is the optimum scheduling or the optimum loading. This also gives reduction of the line losses from 12.5 megawatt to 6.4 megawatt. Okay. Now we need to find out the total cost function. So total cost function is F1 P1 F2 P2, because the expression is given. Both are 400 plus 7p plus 0.002 p square. This is the cost function. So if you just replace the value of p by some numerical value, you will get the cost function is rupees per hour. So here you see the two cost function are same, but for the P1 we should write it 179, and for P2 we should replace the value of P2 by 327.5 megawatt. So if you just do all this calculation, it's coming that 4623.15 unit of cost, or you can say the rupees per hour is required for this particular production. Okay. So this is the answer of the first part, that after applying the exact coordination equation, what will be the rescheduling of the load demand. So the reschedule is that P1 should generate this one, P2 should generate this one, and while P1 and P2 are generating this amount of electricity or electric energy, the transmission loss will reduce from 12.5 megawatt to 6.4 megawatt. And the total cost for this particular schedule is 4,623.15 unit of cost per hour. Now coming to the second one. Second one, attempt a reschedule to minimize the transmission loss. Now you may say that one thing, that this is our main headache, the transmission loss. If we are able to make the transmission loss zero, then is it advantageous or is it disadvantageous? Somebody tell me. Because as I mentioned, nobody are going to pay for the transmission loss. The company itself need to bear that particular cost, and which is considered as the loss. So if we are able to make the transmission loss as zero, then is it advantageous compared to this solution or not? Okay. So somebody said advantageous. So let's see that if we
They're not advantageous because then the generation loss will increase.
Generation loss or generation cost?
Generation cost.
Generation cost is increase, you may say, but means if you just look from the overall thing, that some transmission line is there, and through the transmission lines, if the power is transmitted to the load, then some losses will also be there. This is the natural phenomena. We can't control this one, but we try to minimize this one. We are not able to try to make it zero, because if the transmission loss is zero, then it means that there is no current flowing to this one. So that means the generation of the P1 is also zero. This is not feasible. This is not possible for this particular case. So we try to minimize this one. Once we apply the economic criteria, the transmission loss is reduced from 12.5 megawatt to 6.4 megawatt. But now we try to reduce it further, and let's see that this will give you the advantages or not. Okay. So from common sense, it appears that since the line losses is squarely proportional to the part of the P1 squared, so hence, if we reduce the value of P1, the line losses will be reduced, obviously. So just let's see this expression. Here you see the line loss is depend upon the P1 square. It is not depend upon the generation of the P2. It is only depend upon the P1 square. So if we try to minimize the value of P1, then also the transmission loss is minimized, isn't?
ইয়েস স্যার, তাহলেই তো
Obviously, no
P2
other
Yes, sir.
থেকেই তো পুরো লোড ডিমান্ডটাকে ফুলফিল করতে হবে।
No, I'm not saying that we need to make the P1 as 0. We need to try to minimize this one, because as Bitam said that if the P1 equal to 0, then the transmission loss is obviously 0. Very good. But you see that the maximum and minimum limit is there. So many things you need to consider, because you are growing up now and this is a very critical subject. So it's not like a simple DC network problem. So many things you need to consider when you try to solve this type of problem. So here you see the limits are given, maximum generation and the minimum generation limits are given. And here you see 400 megawatt and 70 megawatt are the upper and lower limit respectively for the two generators. So if we make the P1 0 to minimize or to make the transmission loss 0, then the load demand is also not satisfied, because the power plant 2 can generate maximum 400 megawatt. And what is the load demand? Load demand is 500 megawatt. So that means this point is not valid, that we can make the P1 as 0. So P1 should generate something. Otherwise, it's not possible to fulfill the load demand. Okay. So from that expression, line loss, so my point was that from the expression of the line loss, is it clear that the line loss is totally dependent upon the P1 squared? So if the P1 is minimized, then the transmission loss also minimized. Eta clear ki clear na bolo?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So now what? কি তোর মাইকটা গটগট গটগট করে আওয়াজ করে, আরেকবার বল, অর্ধেক বলে থেমে যাস না।
স্যার ইকুয়েশনটা একটুখানি সমস্যা হচ্ছে ওই জায়গাটা করে।
ইকুয়েশনটা তো লেখা আছে, লাইন লস ইজ ডিপেন্ড আপন 0.002 P1 square. This is given in the question. So from the expression, you just need to understand that the line loss is totally depend upon the P1 square. And from the figure also, it is correct that the transmission line is connected to the generator 1 only, to the load. So that means when the transmission loss occur, it totally depend upon the P1. If P1 is more, if P1 generating more, the transmission loss is also more. If P1 generate less, the transmission loss is also less. Eta bol ebar clear hoyeche ki hoyni?
হ্যাঁ স্যার ক্লিয়ার হয়েছে।
Okay. Now the next question is, খুব ভালো করে শোনো question. Next question is, what should be the value of P1 to minimize the transmission loss? What should be the value of P1 to minimize the transmission loss? খুব ভেবে answer দাও, because it's a not very easy question. So you need to think something to give the answer. You have the limit. Limit is P1 and P2, both are the identical units. So minimum generation should be 70, maximum generation should be 400. You should not cross the upper and lower limit. Means your generation should not be more to the 400 megawatt and not less compared to the 700 megawatt. And question is that what is the minimum value of P1 to minimize the transmission loss? Look at the expression of the transmission loss, look at the limits of the P1, and say what should be the minimum value of P1 to minimize the transmission loss.
জিরো হলে
ওহো, জিরো হলে কি প্রবলেম হবে আমি একটু আগে বললাম।
এটা
If the P1 equal to 0, then the total load demand is not satisfied by the P2 alone, because P2 can generate maximum 400 megawatt and the load demand is 500 megawatt. So you cannot make the P1 as 0. Next answer বলো এবার।
স্যার যেহেতু লোয়ার লিমিট 70 আছে তাহলে 70 হবে।
Good. আরেকটা ভালো আনসার পেয়েছি। So if as the lower limit of the two generators are 70 and we try to minimize the P1, so somebody said that the P1 generation should be fixed at 70 megawatt.
100 হবে স্যার।
100?
স্যার 100 megawatt।
100 megawatt. Very good. So this is the more correct answer compared to the 70. So let me say that why the 70 is not taken into account, because if the P1 equal to 70 megawatt as the lower limit of this particular generation, that is the correct answer. So that transmission line loss will be minimized obviously, but you see that as the maximum limit of the P2 is 400, so that means minimum generation of P1 equal to 70 and generation of P2 equal to maximum 400, so total is 470. So again the load demand is not satisfied. That's why I told you that here everything you need to consider, otherwise it's not possible to solve this type of problem. 70 হলে তাহলে problem কি হতো, as the lower limit is 70 and the upper limit is 400, so total generation is 470, which is less compared to the 500 megawatt load demand. So this 70 is not also considered. Somebody said the another answer 100 megawatt. It's good that if the generation of the P1 is fixed at 100, so then the P2 is also set at the maximum limit 400, so 400 plus 400 plus this 500 megawatt is received. But also it is very close to the actual answer, but not the actual answer. Why? Because then you can generate only 500 megawatt of power. So you are not thinking about the transmission loss, because as the P1 is generating something 100 megawatts, so obviously some line losses will be there. So our generation, that means the P1 plus P2 should be 500 plus that line losses. It's not only 500 only. Okay, যে clear হয়েছে তো, যে বলেছিল যে 100 megawatt?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
If it is 100 megawatt, then from this particular expression, line loss expression, you can find out some line losses is there. That is a numeric value. Obviously low, but some value is there, finite value is there. So 500 plus this finite value should be the generation. Okay. So that's why here you see the solution procedure. So hence we can reduce P1 in the line losses will also be reduced. Let us take P2 equal to 400. So this is the point I'm just mention here. Why we take the P2? Because if we minimize the value of P1 equal to 70 megawatt, then the total load demand is not satisfied. That's why do the reverse thing. Reverse thing is what? Take the upper limit of the generator 2, because only two generator is there, generator 1 and generator 2. The limits are set. We try to minimize the generation 1. So in the other words, we can say we try to maximize the generator 2. This is also same thing. So our P2 is generation of the P2 is fixed at 400, the maximum capacity of unit 2 according to the limit. So let us now balance the power equation. P1 plus P2 equal to 500 plus this line losses, and P2 equal to 400, the maximum limit. So just replace the value of P2 here. We can get P1 equal to 102 megawatt. Okay. So thus to minimize the loss, we can write, we can make the P1 equal to 102 megawatt and P2 equal to 200 megawatt, and line losses is coming as 2 megawatt. Okay. So here you see this is the procedure for minimizing the transmission loss, and transmission loss should not be zero, because then also the total load demand is not satisfied. It should be a value, and that value is minimized at 2 megawatt. It is not possible to minimize it further due to the limitation of the generator. So 2 megawatt is the minimized line losses. Now, is it good or bad? Because initially we have this one 250 megawatt for each plant and 12.5 megawatt is the transmission loss. Then we apply our coordination equation and find that P1 equal to 179, P2 equal to 327.5, and the line loss is also reduced. Sometimes it's 6.4. Now again we do some calculation and it's coming that P1 equal to 102 megawatt, P2 equal to 400 megawatt, and the line loss is 2 megawatt. Now which one we accept? Obviously we are not accepting the first one, 250 generation, because it will give more transmission loss. Come to this one. This is exactly according to the coordination equation, and here we see the cost is find out 4,623.15. Now let's find out the cost based on this one 102 megawatt and 400 megawatt generation. If you put it in the expression, then it's coming 4655 unit of cost per hour. So this is equal to 4655. That was 4623. So that means this will give you the ultimate economy in this particular problem. So you see, if you try to minimize that, because overall we can see the means from the brief, if you just think that if we able to minimize the transmission loss, then also this is gives us the ultimate economy. But actually this is not happening here. If the schedule is done based on the calculation, based on the coordination equation, Lagrangian equation, then only we can get the ultimate economy, which is equal to 4623 rupees or something unit of cost per hour. But if we do without any scheduling formula, if we just do based on the upper and lower limit, then the transmission loss is minimized 2 megawatt, but it is not gives us more economy, but because here 4655 unit of cost per hour we need to spend. Previously it was 4623. So hence we conclude that the rescheduling with minimization of the line loss does not give us economy. Only scheduling with economic operation criteria can be proper economy, can give us the proper economy. Got it? So always use the coordination equation or the exact coordination equation, whatever you have, to find out the best optimum solution. If you do it in any other ways, it will not give you the ultimate economy. Apparently, you may see that some quantities minimized or some quantities maximized, but that will not the ultimate. That will not give you the ultimate economy. Ultimate economy we can find out only after using the coordination equation. Got it? Okay. So again, the announcement for the latecomers. বলো একবার।
স্যার এখানে আপনি বুঝতে পারছেন ডিউ টু ট্রান্সমিশন লস 12.5 মেগাওয়াট অফ পাওয়ার লস, এই লাইনটা তো অলরেডি বলে দিয়েছে। তার এখানে আবার সলিউশন এই যে ইকুয়েশন লেখা আছে 0.002 P1 স্কয়ার ওয়াট, মানে এইটা আবার কি জন্য লিখেছে, মানে অলরেডি তো 12.5 মেগাওয়াট তো মেনশন করে দিয়েছি, এই জিনিসটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে না।
Oh, that is not the. So this 12.5 megawatt transmission loss, that is based on the 250 megawatt generation. So if the power plant 1 and power plant 2 are generating 250 megawatt of power, then only the 12.5 megawatt power loss will be there as a transmission loss. Transmission loss is dependent upon the generation only, so it should not be constant. So this 12.5 megawatt for a particular condition, and the condition is that 250 megawatt generated by the power plant 1 and power plant 2, then only the 12.5 megawatt power is wasted as the transmission loss. Okay, so if the generation is changes, then the transmission loss is also changes. So here you see the generation is changes 179 327.5, transmission loss is also changes from 12.4 to 12.5 to 6.4, and the last one here the generation is 100 to 400, so the transmission loss is also changes. So transmission loss is totally dependent upon the generation, it should not be a fixed quantity. And this 12.5 megawatt jeta question e bole diyechilo, which is for a particular condition, and this condition was 250 megawatt each generating plant shared. বোঝা গেছে answer?
তাহলে স্যার এই যে ইকুয়েশনটা যে আছে যে 0.002 P1 স্কয়ার, মানে এটা কি কোর্সের সাথে কি মানে গিভেন কন্ডিশনই ছিল ইকোনমিক অপারেশনের জন্য?
Yes. This is the condition. This is called the loss coefficient. This is the condition that is given in the question, that line loss is dependent upon the generation of the power plant 1, which is equal to 0.0002 P1 square. এটা দেয়াই আছে ওখানে। তুই এখানে একটা কাজ কর না, so in this expression just put the value of P1 as 250, you will get that 12.5. Okay, because this 12.5 is not given, it means it's not any other arbitrary value. That one is calculated value. Calculated value means if the power plant 1 is generating 250 megawatts, so just replace the value of P1 square as 250 square, then you get the 12.5 megawatt. So everything is based on this formula. This is the ultimate formula for the transmission loss.
ওকে স্যার।
Okay. বিক্রমজিৎ বলো আবার কি হলো?
স্যার আওয়াজ আসছে না?
একটা কথা বলে থেমে যায়, বল পুরো কথাটা।
স্যার আওয়াজ আসছে না?
বাকিরা তো শুনতে পাচ্ছে, তোর কাছে আওয়াজ যাচ্ছে না, আমি কি করে বলবো অত?
Yes, sir. Clearly.
Others, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
ইয়েস স্যার। ইয়েস স্যার।
বিক্রমজি তোর কিছু প্রবলেম আছে তাহলে? Okay, again, so again the same announcement that in the next Wednesday I'll give you one problem, easy problem, very easy problem, and in a plain paper write your name, roll number. Again bole dicchi kintu je write your name, roll number clearly, not in a separate page. Whatever you start answering, in the top of the page write your name, roll number, and just do not need to copy the question, just solve it, upload it within the time in my classroom, and definitely you get a very good marks in the CA1. Got it? This is the condition, but your marks will be
Sir,
deducted
can
if
you
you
repeat
not
once?
able to present in that particular day. So in the next Wednesday, I will take one assignment for the CA1, which you need to submit from October 1 to October 4. After October 4, the portal will be closed. So I need to compare. I need to compute your mark. I need to check your copy. So time is needed. Time is required for that one. That's why I am in hurry. So in the next Wednesday, I will give you one assignment. Considering only one or two very very simple economic operation problem, without considering the generator limit, without considering the transmission loss and the generator limit also, and within the scheduled time you need to do it in a plain paper, mentioning your name and roll number on the top of the paper, and you need to submit that one, you need to upload that one in the PDF format to my classroom to get the good marks. Clear? And I also mentioned the point through which your marks will be deducted. One is that if you are not able to present on the day, next Wednesday, that means 29th of September. Second one, if you not able to write, or if you forget to write your name and roll number on the top of the page. Okay, do not attempt any, do not attach any extra title page. Whatever be the page you want to use for the solution, just write your name and roll number on the top of the page. That is sufficient to get the full marks. So please circulate this message to your group, that so that everybody can present in that one. And if you have any serious problem to present in that day, please inform me before that day. So on the exam time or after the exam time or after the assignment time, if you mention that, sir, due to that problem I was not able to present on that day, that will not accepted, that will not entertained, and definitely some marks is deducted for the late submitter. Okay, বোঝা গেছে তো?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you know that today the induction program is started. The first year student has joined today, and means online induction program is started, where you need to say something about our department. So that's why I am not able to take the next class. And but before we stop the class, I just want to say the last one of this particular topic. As you see, that after that the class will be closed. That line loss, the expression is given. Okay, the expression is given. The expression is 0.0002 P1 square. Now how the means how the formula is formed, how this expression is formed, who calculate for this one? Obviously from the figure it is clear that the line loss is totally depend upon the P1 square. It is not depend upon P1, it is not depend upon the P2, because P2 is directly connected to the load, no transmission lines are there in between. But how the exact formula is done, how the exact formula is derived, who said that the line loss is 0.0002 P1 square? It may be written that the line loss is proportional to P1 square. That one is easy to understand, that line loss is proportional to P1 square. But how you know that line loss is 0.0002 P1 square? What? Okay, got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In the first problem also, who said that the line loss is 0.008 PGB minus 100 square? It may be seen that from the figure that as the power is transmitted from PGB to the load A, so the line loss is depend upon the PGB. But how they find out the exact equation of this particular line loss? So this is the last chapter which you need to study. This is in your syllabus, that this one is called, rather this one, sorry, not able to rather this one is called the loss coefficient. This 0.0002, this constant is called the loss coefficient. So once you know the loss coefficient, then from the figure you can definitely get the exact value or the exact expression of this one. Because here you know that the line loss is totally dependent upon the P1. That one is from the figure, it is clear to understand. But unless you know the loss coefficient, you are not able to form the exact expression for the line losses. So last topic is how to find out the loss coefficient and what is the loss coefficient. Okay. So for that, I have one PPT, and then in the next class, I will cover this one also, determination of the transmission loss formula. So this one is proposed by the Cron, the scientist Cron, but in that time it was not populated because it's a very much critical thing. So I just make one video for this one to simplify this expression and to make it understand easily. This one is also easy to understand, not very easy to understand. You just need to think something, then only you can understand this one. So here the objective or the aim of this particular topic is that how to find out the loss formula. Derivation of the transmission loss formula. Once you are able to understand this one, then you can understand that why the transmission loss is sometimes it is written 0.002 P1 square, or sometimes it is written in the different expression. So how the expression is actually came, this one is you can find out the answer here. Derivation of the transmission loss formula, which is required for the economic operation. Okay. So here I will give you that PPT today. If you understand, it's fine. If you not understand this one after reading, then in the next class we will see this one, and in the next class also I will make some video for this one, but our PPT for this one to make it again simplified. This one is simplified expression, but sometimes it is difficult to understand because you see so many terms are there. So if you again find out that one is difficult to understand by you, then again in the next class I will again make one PPT which definitely you can easily understand for this one. Here one thing is that here one simple figure is there. This is the load demand. We call it the ID because the load demand in terms of current. Generally till now we know that the load demand is based on the power. PD is called the load demand in megawatt or in watt. But now we actually reduce the value from the power to current. So this ID is called the current demand. Okay, current, because this is actually the controlling factor here. Voltage is fixed. Voltage is not demand by anything. In your home, the 220 volt is there or 230 volt is there. In my home also 220 volt is there or 230 volt is there. So voltage is not a problem. Problem is the load. Load means it's a current, not only the power. Power is just the multiplication of these two quantity. Actually, the current is control all these things. More load means more current need to be injected to that particular path. Less load means less amount of current. Voltage is because if you not switch on any loads in your home, then also the 250 or the 230 volt is present in your home. But once you switch on some load, some current is injected from the power plant, or suppose not the power plant, from the distribution system, roadside pole to your home. So current is the main controlling factor, and this current is called the demand current or the load demand. ID means the load demand current. This is one part. Second one is that here the load demand is controlled by or the supplied by two power plant 1 and power plant 2. Okay, this one is supplied by two power plant 1 and power plant 2. In the first figure, it shows that the total load demand is supplied by the power plant 1 only. Okay, so power plant 2 is isolated or it is disconnected from the system. So in the first figure, it's shown that the power plant 1 is supplying the total load demand. And in the second figure, it is showing that the load demand is supplied by the power plant 2 alone. Okay, and in the last figure, which is the more accurate figure or more practical figure, the total load demand is shared by the power plant 1 and power plant 2. Okay. The power plant 1 contribution is IG1, power plant 2 contribution is IG2, and IP is one of the, because here one bus is there which is the P bus, because here so many interconnections are there, bus number 1, bus number 2, bus number N, bus number P. So this is a particular general bus P, and through this particular bus, how much is the current? That is the expression, general expression for the current. This is equal to IP1, that is equal to IP2. And here, when the load demand is contributed by the generator 1 and generator 2, this is the IP, current is flowing to the PH bus. So this is the meaning of the three figure. And here, one expression is given. Which is equal to MP1 equal to IP1 by ID. What is this one? This one is called the current distribution factor. This one, MP1 and MP2, is called the current distribution factor. That is the term. This critical terms are used in the power system 3, but actually the meaning is simple. Current distribution means it's actually the current divider rule. Okay, means how much current is contributed by the generator 1 and how much current is contributed by the generator 2. And if you just take the per unit value of this thing or the percentage value of this particular current, this is called the current distribution factor. Got it? It's very simple. Like this one. Say, for example, if I draw it here, because unless proper understanding, this one is very difficult to understand. Because of this particular term, because I found that the problem is that the using of this complicated term and the complicated expression also. Say, this is 10 ampere of current is required in the load demand. Okay, this is equal to ID. And when both are generating, this one is generating say 4 ampere and the power plant 2 is generating power plant is generating 4 ampere. Okay, so is it clear? Total load demand is served by the power plant 1 and power plant 2. Now what is M? MP1. What is MP1? What is MP1? MP1 is the current distribution factor for the power plant 1. এটা মানে কি? আমি কানেক্ট আছি না কানেক্ট নেই, মাঝে মাঝে ভুলে যায়, এমন সব চুপচাপ বসে থাকিস না। MP1 equal to the current distribution factor. The formula is also given IP1 by ID. But what is the meaning of this one? Meaning of this one is how much is the power plant 1 generating? 6 ampere and power plant 2 is generating 4 ampere. Now this 6 ampere is how much percentage of this 10 ampere? So 6 by 10. So this one is called the current distribution factor. Why it is called the current distribution factor? Because what is the total load current or the demand current? Demand current is how much? 10 ampere.
10 ampere.
Okay. Now 10 ampere and the current distribution factor for the plant 1 is 6 by 10. So if you just multiply the ID, by the current distribution factor of plant 1, then you can get the current shared by the plant 1. এই দুটো মাল্টিপ্লাই করলে কত হয়? 10 into 6 by 10 করলে কত হয়? 6 ampere.
0.6
0.6 কে বললো 6 into 6 by 10 into 10.
6 ampere আছে তাহলে
6 ampere.
6
So here you see 6 ampere current is shared. So that's why the current distribution factor is nothing but the term which is if it is multiplied with the total load current, then the contribution of this particular power plant can be find out. বোঝা গেছে এবার?
Sir, okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Similarly, what is the MP2? MP2 bolo, what is the value of MP2?
4 by 10.
4
4
by
of
10,
it.
very good. So that means MP2 is the factor which is multiplied. If it is multiplied with the total load demand current ID, then we can find out the contribution for the generator or contribution of the generator 2. This is the same very simple things. Only a critical term is used, the current distribution factor. And here another problem for understanding this one is that so many terms are used, so many notations, IP1, IG1, MP1, ID. You need to understand and you need to remember that term to understand this one. Because up to the first page or second page is very easy to understand. But when you see, this one is also very interesting. So if you just read all these things, that one is very easy to understand. No problem. But problem is started from this one. Here you see so many terms are used: MP1, IG1, cos del 1, sin del 1. So what is the meaning of this one? What is the the significance of that particular thing? So when you find out any expression, that complicated expression like this one, so you need to memorize the function or memorize the sign used here. Means what is the value of theta lambda 1, what is the value of lambda 2, what is the value of mp2, like all these things. Rather, if you do some numerical problem, then it is very easy to understand, but just solving the numerical problem is not give you the full marks. You need to know the theory also, so that's why the theory is also implicated here. So just see these things, and after, I think you can understand, but definitely I will cover this in the class also in the next day. And after this one, you will find out that this type of expression will come. Okay. So here you see the total load. The PL is the transmission loss. So transmission loss is this one into summation of that one plus this term is there. So ultimately this one is replaced by this. Okay. So PL equal to PG1 square B11 2 PG1 PG2 B12 PG2 square B22. So here you see that this B11 B12 B22, these are all called constant. This is called the B coefficient, okay, or the loss coefficient, which is also written here. This one is called the loss coefficient or B coefficient. Now, if you able to find out the loss coefficient or B coefficient, then you can easily find out the values of all this quantity. Last time ki chilo okhane 0 PL equal to 0.0008 P1 square. So here you see that in that expression B22 0, B12 is also 0 and B11 is 0.008. So that means if you have an idea about the loss coefficient, you can easily represent the transmission line loss in terms of the generation. This is our main aim, because এতদিন তোমরা কি শিখেছো how to represent a loss. নিজান স্যার তোমাদের পড়িয়েছিল। সো যদি নিজান স্যার এই কোশ্চেনটা করতো যে how to represent a loss, কি বলতে তোমরা আনসার? How to represent a loss, বলো কি হতো আনসার? সাপোজ you are studying in the 5th semester, নিজান স্যার ask you the question how to represent a transmission loss, কি লিখতে? আবার কত থেমে যায়? বিতান কি লিখতি সেখানে? হাউ টু রিপ্রেজেন্ট ট্রান্সমিশন লস, যখন 5th সেমিস্টারে পড়তিস কি লিখতাম?
The square of the current flowing through the transmission line multiplied by,
অত বলতে হবে না, আমরা শুধু বলে দেব I square into R, তাই তো? from the beginning, from the ছোটবেলা থেকে আমরা কি শিখেছি? The loss is represented by the I square into R, isn't?
yes sir, yes sir.
এটা শিখেছি তোমরা। But now you can replace the I by the, according to the Ohm's law, I equal to how much? I equal to V by R. So now just replace the value of I by V by R. You can get different expression. But now here we represent the transmission loss as a function of generation. As a function of generation, because that is needed when you do the economic scheduling. In the economic scheduling, if you just replace the transmission loss by the I square R or this type of formula, then it is not gives us the economic scheduling problem. It's not able to solve this one, or the solution is very much become complicated. Rather, if we able to represent the transmission loss with reference to the generation, then only it gives you the, we can solve it using our coordination equation. That's why the same problem is there. And we need to find out that what is called the loss coefficient. So loss coefficient is nothing but the coefficient which is actually relate the transmission loss with the generation. Okay. So এটা হচ্ছে loss coefficient. So one numerical is also there. So that I will cover in the class. Okay. So after that, the first chapter will be closed, and then in the next chapter we will go through the unit commitment. So now don't need to put all these things in your head, what is called the unit commitment. I will give you a very good notes considering 4 books and also some search from the internet, and one solution methodology is also there. So when you start this one, we'll first understand what is called the unit commitment and how to solve the unit commitment. After that, we'll go for the first chapter, the basics of this economic generation. And here you need to find out, luckily you need to find out a lot of numericals. But before that one, you need to study what is called the load factor, the load curve, the diversity factor, the load demand, partial demand, all these things. And fortunately, this is a very easy chapter, but you need to remember a few formulas to do the numerical, and maximum numericals will come from that particular chapter. After that, we go for the tariff. Okay, that how to find, how to calculate the generation cost, how many types of tariffs are there, how many customers are there, and which type of customer share how many percentage, what is called the subsidy, what is called the cross subsidy, all these things. And lastly, we go for the load forecasting. Okay. So that's all for today's class. Thank you very much for attending the class. Let me
স্যার
stop
আপনার কাছে
the recording
এই
first.
চক্রবর্তী বইয়ে পিডিএফ টা আছে আপনার কাছে?